Well, there are rumblings all over the media now that on April 20th, Trump will declare martial law, which effectively means the military takes over for the police. Free speech becomes illegal. Protests become illegal. You have to have the permission of the military to do anything. And worse than that, the commander-in-chief, Trump, can do basically anything he wants. Literally. Okay? We may be looking at the end of American democracy, and we have 13 days left. Okay? Here's my point. Please prepare your family for the worst. The other rumor is that they're going to seize all the guns. So if you have a gun, you want to keep it, you might want to bury it in your backyard. Stock up on food. Please stop spending money you don't have to spend. You may need it, okay? If he shuts everything down, you're going to need some cash. You're going to need something, okay? Please prepare your family for the worst and hope for the best. If this is just a rumor and it doesn't happen, then that's great. We're all fine. But if it does, you have 13 days to prepare.
Trump's going to enact martial law on April 20th.
April 20th, 2025, there is a very good possibility that martial law could be enacted in the United States by means of the Insurrection Act of 1807. On Inauguration Day, Donald Trump declared a national emergency at the southern border. In that declaration, there's a line in Section 6, Subpart B, that gives the Secretary of Defense and the Secretary of Homeland Security the ability to recommend the usage of the Insurrection Act of 1807, which makes martial law legal in the United States. This president has proven time and time again that he is not afraid to break the law extrajudicially. So if you want to make sure that martial law is not invoked in the United States, make sure to call your representatives and tell them to investigate the national emergency at the southern border.
American people are unstable right now, feeling unsafe because in literally less than 2 weeks, Trump wants to bring martial law, which is crazy to me that this is like a planned martial law, because when he was inaugurated, it is something that he signed an executive order for. And people are wondering, why is he bringing martial law? Like, what is it that is triggering a martial law? They're saying that they cannot control the borders, but then he has been doing deportations like crazy. And people are asking themselves, if he is doing martial law, then why is he doing martial law? Unless if it's just like a scare tactic and he's just a man who has power and he just wants to use it uselessly. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my channel. My name is Natkona S. If you're new here, hi, welcome. If you like my content, man, consider subscribing, like, comment, and share. Let me know what you think in the comment section about this martial law thing. Martial law, do y'all understand what martial law is? It's crazy. Given Trump the man that he is, I think he will bring martial law. And people are saying he even tried to bring martial law in 2020 during the George Floyd thing. But he was advised not to. He's just a man who is hungry for power and controlling people. Ladies and gentlemen, are we looking at a martial law coming to America or not?
All right, everybody. I've heard some rumblings on TikTok and other sources about people being concerned about Donald Trump possibly declaring martial law on April 20th by way of the Insurrection Act of 1807. Apparently, the protests that happened the other day have stirred things up a bit and either scared Trump or infuriated him or both, in addition to other people in his administration. He's asked Pete Hegseth, the Secretary of Defense, and I believe Kristi Noem, to write up a proposal about this and about what would need to be done to declare martial law and submit that by April 20th. This is being posed as a way to control the southern border and the influx of illegal immigrants, but people that are in the know are very concerned that this is directly in response to the protests that happened on April 5th. So if Trump does enact the Insurrection Act of 1807 and declare martial law, what does that mean for you? Martial law means that the military will move in and replace civilian authorities in extreme cases like invasions, insurrections, and total breakdowns of law and order. The Insurrection Act allows a president to send troops to enforce the laws and restore order. However, this is only supposed to be used as a last resort. I believe the last time this was used was in the early 90s with the LA riots by George Bush. Trump did want to use this previously during the time of the George Floyd protests and riots, but the people around him that actually had a clue stopped him from doing this due to the implications of, in essence, unleashing the military on civilians. Here is the scary part. Civil liberties can be suspended. Curfews can be enacted, your movements can be restricted, and your access to the courts may be limited. In addition to that, your right to protest can be severely restricted or eliminated altogether. The military can be used to disperse protests, crowds, or anything like that that's considered unwarranted or unwanted or banned at the time. So even though your First Amendment rights still technically apply, the courts typically defer to the government in times of martial law due to the Insurrection Act. Therefore, protesting may be very risky because you will have no legal recourse if you're arrested or detained. Even more concerning under martial law is revocation of your Second Amendment rights. Obviously, under normal conditions, the Second Amendment protects your right to bear arms. However, in times of martial law or public emergency, government may restrict or seize firearms, especially when they claim that it's for public safety. This is really where the rubber meets the road, because if the government starts seizing firearms from American citizens, at that point we truly become a fascist society or a fascist nation. Courts can still review actions of the government, and the Constitution isn't completely eliminated. However, like I said, the courts typically defer to the government. If something like this happens, you need to stay informed as best you can. You need to know your rights because they still do matter. You need to document everything via video, photos, journaling, whatever. You need to reach out to local organizations like the ACLU and other legal services, and then you need to stay as peaceful as possible. You can't do anything if you're arrested. Martial law is technically not supposed to be a free pass to government overreach. However, given how Donald Trump and his administration try to bastardize everything that they do, I'm sure that they will attempt to use it to the most extreme circumstances and allowances of the law. I truly hope that nothing like this happens, but if it does, stay engaged, stay informed, and stay safe. So I've had a lot of people reach out to me and ask me what I think in regards to Trump declaring martial law on April 20th, and if I think that he will actually do it, or if it's possible, or any combination thereof. In regards to whether I think it's possible, let's look at Trump's previous behavior. He wanted to overturn the election results from 2020. He had a massive role in the January 6th attack on the Capitol. He praises authoritarian leaders, and he wanted to declare martial law in his first term, but was stopped by advisors who told him that he couldn't do that. He couldn't use military forces on the civilian population. So, do I think it's possible? Hell yes, I think it's possible. Whether or not I think it's likely, that remains to be seen, and I'll explain why. If you asked me that before his inauguration, I would have said it's probably not likely due to a number of checks and balances still being into play. If you ask me that now, I say it's more likely because he's fired so many people that would have held him in check, and those people are gone. The generals that would have tried to stop him are gone. The civil servants that would have tried to stop him are gone. Just any people in government that knew better and would have tried to stop him are gone. If he does declare martial law, it will be cloaked in the guise of protecting the southern border, at least at first. But the issue comes with the Insurrection Act of 1807. It allows the president to call forth militia to protect the country from insurrection. The problem is that the law very poorly defines what insurrection actually is.